Hi everyone, this is Eugene Kwon with the California Rural Indian Health Board. I'm the program evaluator for the ACORNS CITE grant, and I just wanted to go over the reporting tool for this year. So as you may know, I created a new reporting tool. It's in the form of an Excel spreadsheet, and this one document will kind of save you the trouble of filling out all the different documents you had to last year. So as you can see on the bottom right here, we have all the tabs from PR1, PR2, PR3, and final report, eval outcomes, part 1 and part 2. And so this is going to be a live document that you and I will be exchanging back and forth. So you'll fill it out and then I might make changes to it and send you the same document back. And you'll be working on it throughout the year. It's just not going to be a simple just submission form. So diving right in, we have our due dates right here in red. So the first one is January 18th, and that's coming up pretty soon. So if you do have any questions or may need some more assistance, please reach out to us as soon as possible. This is gonna come up real soon, so, and the holidays are happening, so please let us know if you need some help. I would encourage you to read the instructions. So basically what this says is basically all the green sections throughout the different tabs are parts that you can complete using forms that you've already submitted. So those forms would be your 2018-19 work plan and your outcomes and evaluation forms. Next, the pink sections are all parts that you can complete from information that you collect throughout your program year. So basically, all the data or all the feedback you get from your program, those are things that you'd be using to fill out those sections. And so next, I know people asked about if you can still complete the form over the phone. So yes, you can schedule an appointment with Janeva to complete this, the progress report and the final report over the telephone. I do recommend calling beforehand, making an appointment beforehand, so probably 2 weeks before the submission date. Next, if you feel like you can just kind of fill it out yourself, you would be sending it in to Janeva Soresen, so jsorensen@crib.org, and then from there, she and I will be working to organize the information and then get you back the document with our feedback. Here are some tips. So Excel can kind of be tricky, especially if you haven't worked with it. So there are some kind of tips to help you when you're entering information. And again, if you do have any more questions or you just can't figure it out, please feel free to give me a call or email me at any time. So going to the bottom, we have just our basic contact information. Pretty standard, you could fill this out. And then we also do ask that you fill out what areas that you're working in. So if it's breastfeeding, nutrition, clinical, community linkages, whatever, just kind of fill it in the boxes of which ones you're working with. Next, we're just going to move on to our first progress report. So all the progress reports are the same, PR1, PR2, PR3. What we are asking is that you only report new information between the dates that this report is collected. So when you're filling out progress report 1, you're working between when the program started as well as until January 18th. For progress report 2, you're filling out information, updated information from January 18th to April 19th. And that also applies to PR3 and then the final report. So looking at this document, we have our pink sections. So you want to fill in these text boxes. What I recommend is that you make your dialog box bigger on the top right here. Usually it'll probably look like this, a small little line, and then you can just kind of drag it down and then make it a lot bigger. Next, when you're filling out this information, you could type kind of whatever, and then if you want to create a new paragraph, instead of just pushing enter, you have to push Alt Enter, and that will take you down to the next line. If you just push enter by itself, that'll kind of close out the box and it'll kind of move you one space down. So make sure if you do want to create a new paragraph, Alt Enter, and then you can start typing a new paragraph. Next, we have our selecting our objectives, and you kind of just choose from the drop-down menu, and then from there just kind of fill in all the green parts, and this will follow your work plan pretty closely. Another part that you might have questions about are your objectives and activities. So while I've put one objective and then 4 activities under that one objective, you might have for your objective 2 activities or 5 activities. So if that's the case, you can always go in and select it with your left click, and then right click it and do insert. And then from there, it just gives you the same size box above. So maybe you have a 5th activity that you want to fill in. And you can just kind of Control C, Control V, and it'll give you kind of all the same cues that are in there. Just like that. And let's say, for example, you don't have 5 activities, you only have 3. And you want to make it a little cleaner, maybe a little bit more concise. So you can go in and then actually delete the rows as well. So I put 1 objective, 4 activities for each one, and then I put 3 objectives. If you look at your work plan, you might have different objectives, and so I've added those in. And after you finish your first one, I'll kind of know the format of it, and your progress report 2 and progress report 3 will not be a problem because we'll just follow that format, and you won't have to reformat it again. So the pink sections are all pretty standard. They pretty much ask all the same questions that were asked on the progress reports last year. If you do have any questions, please ask. We would much rather, you ask and then fill out correctly the first time than kind of having to go back and forth and trying to get that information for you later on. So next, going over the final report is slightly different from the progress reports. The questions that we asked in the beginning are different, but it's the same way. You would answer them the same exact way. And then again, the second part of it with all the objectives that follow the work plan are going to be the exact same. Next, we have the eval and outcomes and evaluation form. So this follows exactly the same as the form that you submitted. Again, the objectives and question numbers might be like the number of how many questions you have per objective might be different. So again, reformatting it to follow your outcomes and evaluation form. This pink section again is new, so this is like how you would answer your evaluation questions that you asked at the beginning of the year. Next, we have our eval outcomes part 2, and this also follows the second part of the form exactly the same, but we just asked a reach section, so how many people were reached in total through your efforts. So that is my kind of summary of the reporting tool. Again, if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me by email or telephone. And again, if we really would encourage everyone to kind of stay on top of these deadlines. This is our last year, so we really want to make sure that everything's done correctly and on timely. So please let us know if you do need help. And good luck and happy holidays, everyone.